Hello, thanks for joining us once again on TCN's Power Wheel. Power Wheel brings to you efforts of operatives in the power sector at improving electricity supply to Nigerians. I am Sheung Olagunju. You're welcome. The chairman, Senate Committee on Power, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, has said that the committee is collaborating with the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing to settle liquidity issues within all chains of the power sector by December 2018 in order to restore investors' confidence in the sector. Senator Abaribe, who disclosed this at the March edition of the monthly Next Year Power Dialogue in Abuja with the theme, Power, What Do Nigerians Want?, noted that the Senate is aware that Nigerians are calling for appropriate billing, fair pricing, neighborhood safety with regards to power, and decent customer service delivery. Power Wheel's Billy Akau was at the event and packaged the report.
Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe says fair pricing in the power sector is part of the Senate's responsibilities to consumers in the electricity supply industry by ensuring that operators in the power supply industry provide realistic tariffs for their consumers, which should be commensurate with the purchasing power of the economy.
What is the ideal expectation of a citizen in Nigeria? Number one, uninterrupted and stable power supply. Everybody wants that. So what does the National Assembly do? National Assembly is a representation of the Nigerian people. So we want exactly the same thing that the Nigerian public wants. We don't want anything that's different from what the Nigerian public wants. So we want uninterrupted power, stable power. We want appropriate billing. I think this is where the discourse comes in. What is appropriate billing? Billing for what I have consumed, not billing for what I did not consume. So at any point that you're doing estimated billing, so people are very, very angry because as far as they are concerned, I get power for 1 hour a week, yet you still charge me for 24 hours. Next thing is that we want fair pricing. Fair pricing meaning that the tariff must be realistic and must be commensurate with the purchasing power of the economy.
He stated that they will ensure that all operators comply with the Power Reform Act 2005, which revolutionized the sector and brought into existence the privatization of generation and distribution, noting that the senators are considering appropriate punishment to defaulters, analyze the value chain interlink to determine the areas of change improvement, and ensure the executive's commitment to infrastructure's development.
We want to be able to restore investor confidence. That is something that is very lacking. We know that this goes, we are supposed to have raised money from international money markets, bring it here, and use it to expand the market through consistent investments. Fortunately, I don't think that happened. I think what happened was that Nigerian money was used to buy Nigerian assets, and they have to pay back to the banks. And so discourse are tied to banks. But what we know in our interaction with everybody in the sector is that the Nigerian electricity market, we have challenges. Because the first one is the liquidity challenge. And once you talk about liquidity challenge, it affects every other challenge. I think all of them are tied into the liquidity challenge. The discourse claim that government is owing, then NEC is owing, then the market operator claim that the discourse are owing, and of course the GENCOs claim that NBET is owing. NBET says these other people are not getting that. So everybody within the sector, all the way back to the gas suppliers,
There were contributions and questions from participants at the dialogue.
Privatization of the power sector was actually supposed to take government out of it, put it in private hands for the purposes of achieving quantity, quality, and sustainability. The whole idea was government comes out of it. These people said they had the expertise, they said they had the resources, they did due diligence, understood what it was supposedly, and they now made a bid for it. And these things were transferred to them. And subsequently, something you did say was that on the basis of the corporate representations made about illiquidity, government again took another set of funds and actually shared out to them, I think about 2 years ago or so. And what has happened? So you bought an asset, you begin to realize, oh, you didn't know what you bought. Then the person from whom you bought it took money again and gave you to run it.
I think we must understand that reform is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It also has a lot of moving parts, several moving parts. If you are not broad enough in the way you manage reform, you could be chasing the cat while the rats are breeding all over your house. So in terms of managing reform, you have to be very broad in the way you look at the moving parts and how to make sure that you regulate them. You can say that you are doing a balancing act, but it is way more than a balancing act. It's an act in which you have levers and you have templates and you have signals and you have alarms. So anyone that shows up with a red flag, you want to hit it down, turn it to green, and you keep doing that until you get to the cruising height.
We now bring you the concluding part of the interview we had with the head of the transmission service provider TSP in TCN, Engineer Tom Uwa.
TCN has a program of expansion of the grid. We've been for 25 years. We have a major challenge in sourcing funds for realizing this. We have gotten some promises from donor agencies. So we are working on that to make sure that as soon as we have the loans finalized, we'll go on to realizing the project. Yes, host communities have some preference in connection to the grid. For instance, locations where we have power plants or major substations, we ensure that we have provision to reticulate those areas and supply electricity. We have realized that the ratio of the technical to non-technical in TSP in particular is not what it should be. We equally have noticed that the number of substations we are building, the new transmission lines, require that we employ more engineers. We equally have observed that the existing workforce is getting old. So based on this, the need to recruit younger engineers to take up the responsibilities that are coming with more substations, more lines, and replacing our workforce is high. The new management has a plan to recruit new engineers. Not only recruiting new engineers, we have planned to resuscitate the pupillage programs we used to do for our new engineers. So we expect that before the next quarter of the year, would recruit new engineers and get them trained properly to fill the gaps. Two main challenges facing our operations. One is funding. Secondly is of course related to funding, the liquidity crisis in the market. TCN will power and hardly get more than 25% of due revenue. The other issue is vandalism of our structures. While trying to build the grid, putting efforts to build the grid, the ones we have built are getting destroyed by vandals. We plead with the government to help us in the fight against vandalism of our structures, and we equally expect that areas where we have these structures, that people there will take ownership of this equipment, because it belongs to all of us. Everybody sees the issue from the position. I'll rather say that transmission is a critical link, because if Genco fails, all of them will not fail. Some of them will still deliver. If Disco fails, all of them will not fail. Some of them will still be available to take. But if transmission fails, the whole value chain would collapse. However, transmission has not failed to will all available power. Indeed, the current situation is that there is no load to take up the power well. So transmission is not weak. Transmission is only critical.
Thanks for staying with us on Power Wheel. The program continues in a moment. The management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria has disclosed that funds from international donor agencies will be used to build some critical transmission infrastructure across the country as part of efforts to provide more stable electricity for Nigerians. The interim managing director of TCN, Mr. Usman Gul Mohammed, made this known during a presentation titled Donor-Funded Projects for TCN to management and staff of the company for assessment and possible inputs in line with his avowed commitment to transparency and accountability in the award of contracts.
Mr. Mohammed listed the donor agencies to include the World Bank, AFD, Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and African Development Bank, AFDB.
This project will solve and reinforce one by 150, 330, 132 power transformer, high voltage switchgear and associated replacement of control room, relays, panels, physical control in Kumbozo. It will also do the Dakota reinforcement, but at 160 and it will also digitalize the control room also. It will also do the Kankia replacement of 130 MVA and a replacement of 1 by 130 MVA transformer to 2 by 260, and also it will digitalize the control room.
The MD further explained that the proposed project, when approved by the donor, will be implemented by in-house engineers in accordance with the region's specification and design, while TCN will collaborate with the host state government on the issue of land title, compensation and right-of-way in order to ensure smooth implementation of this project.
There will be complete simulation of the project up to that 3 and communication with stakeholders. So what we intend to do now is that the system planning people, they will have a lot of jobs from now to maybe 1 month. They are going to do a complete simulation of the project. And we are going to, up to the point of 33. So every time we go, they continue to hit us and say transmission is the problem and all this. We are going to take the part to them. Only hire consultants when we need to hire consultants. No more hiring consultants anyhow. Yes. And engineer who has promised me that the design of all these projects can be done by our engineers.
He enjoined all TCN staff who are knowledgeable in the field of procurement, wayleave, and environment to join hands with the management to achieve the vision of a reliable transmission company.
Ikeja Electric has called on the general public to exercise extra caution around electrical installations within its network as the rainy season begins to gain momentum. The company's head of corporate communications, Felix Ofulue, noted that the rainy season is usually plagued with increased accidents within the electricity sector as a result of heavy rainfall, windstorms, and floods. He urged the public to be on guard in order to avoid being victims of any accident that could easily occur during the rains. He noted the hazard that the mix of electricity and water poses and advised the public to avoid conditions that could compromise safety around electricity, such as using wet electrical appliances, stepping in puddles of potentially charged water, coming in contact with exposed electrical wires, among others, as such actions may have fatal results. Regional General Managers, also known as GMTs in the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, have been charged to take full responsibility of every business process in their regions, particularly the procurement process. The interim MD CEO of TCN, Mr. Usman Gur Mohammed, gave the charge to the managers at a one-day procurement workshop organized by TCN in conjunction with the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, to prepare them for the eventual decentralization of TCN's business processes, being anticipated as one of the measures being considered for the re-engineering of the company.
Mr. Mohammed emphasized that the GMTs at their level are not just engineers, but managers with sound knowledge of the system and so should be in charge to forestall cheat manipulating the system. He said the training is necessary to empower them with the relevant skill and knowledge to effectively discharge their responsibilities and take charge of their region.
If you are a general manager and you don't know what accountants are doing under you, what are you? What is the meaning of a general manager? You are a manager, but that manager is a general. And when you are a general, what is it means you have knowledge of everything. You are not a specialist, but you should have knowledge of everything. But when you sit down and they say, this one, no, this is work of accountant, I don't know anything. Oh, this is work of procurement, is not my business. Then you are not in charge. You are just a figurehead. You are not in charge. No, so as part of what we are planning to do, we are looking at the possibility of decentralizing and giving you more functions. There are some functions that are being carried out in headquarters which we don't think is the right way to go. We have not made a decision, but we are working towards that. So if we are giving you responsibility, we want to empower you. And part of the empowerment is how we call this man quickly. And it's part of the collaboration we are having. One of my way of work is to collaborate with the agencies that we have relationship with. This is part of the evidence that we have a relationship with them. We can call them anytime and tell them, come. I didn't promise you anything. I didn't even speak with him, but he's here. So please, let's pay attention. Let us listen. Because the purpose is not to create problems, but to solve problems. If you are a general manager, you should know everything. No procurement officer or no accountant should come and manipulate you.
General Manager Legals to Company Secretary of TCN, Mrs. Fatima Lawan Mutar, appreciated Mr. Sahid Umar for taking his time to come and explain the Procurement Act to the GMT, adding that as a new management, it is expedient that the MD meets his frontline managers and gets them to understand and familiarize themselves with the provision of the Procurement Act in view of the emphasized decentralization of the TCN by the new management.
Thank you. We've enjoyed it and we've become more enlightened.
You have to invite credible persons representing a relevant private sector professional body and non-governmental anti-corruption organization to observe your bid open. Also, your bid submission should be in line with the Act. Examination and evaluation process should be our decision is taken and nothing of that as of really bid issued immediately to the winner. Debrief a bid result on request. If a contractor tells you, why did I lose? Please, section 19E says on request you debrief them. When they come and tell me the basis for why I was not the least evaluated responsibility. You explain to them why you do basis.
We weed out the ones that are not performing well in the bid. And in your submission, you said there is no branding, no naming of companies. Now, I want to bid. I want to do open bidding between company for America, company for India, company for China, company for Europe at the same time. The only way I can do it, if I'm right, is by my specifications.
As a new management that is coming on board, it's natural that he meets his frontline managers, especially the ones in the field. We've started with the Procurement Act and the familiarizing everybody, or reminding everybody, the issue of procurement.
Following an assessment visit by TCN management team to the erosion site threatening towers number 94 and 98 in one of the islands along the River Niger, the MD CEO TCN, Mr. Yuji Mohammed, has directed that immediate control measures be taken to curb the menace and stop the towers from collapsing. Towers 94 and 98, which are on the same line route of the Opai-Onitsha 330 kV double circuit line, are considered to be part of one of the most critical lines in Nigeria's transmission grid network, linking the Ajib-Opai 480 megawatts power plant to the Onitsha transmission station. The transmission line delivers about 450 megawatts with very minimal interruption to the national grid.
The MD and his team were conducted round the erosion site by the General Manager Transmission, Enugu Region, Engineer Geoffrey Mukoyi, who expressed concern over the level of damage caused by the menace, especially as it affects Transmission Tower 94. According to Engineer Mukoyi, the erosion problem worsened over the years and have reached very alarming dimensions requiring immediate attention to avoid catastrophic failure.
One of the towers that was affected, we saw the erosion threat there, and it's something that we cannot allow so that it will devastate the tower completely and get the tower down. We made the report on that, and it was contracted out for a contractor to come and check the erosion, and it's not taking us anything less than 10 million to do that. We cannot continue like that. That means if these people are not brought to check after doing erosion and control on that particular tower, they will move to another one where excavation happens, and it will continue just like that.
The inspection of the erosion site was a fallout of an interactive session between the interim MD and general managers in the company's transmission regions held recently in Abuja. The meeting discussed issues and challenges affecting operations in the regions and attempted to profile solutions that will enhance operations and service delivery.
That's our package this week on Power Wheel. We do appreciate your time every time. Please join us again. You may also contact us if you have any comments or questions. I am Sheung Olagunju. Thanks for watching.